Hello friends, and welcome to my fireside chat to discuss piano exams this week. I've recently taken the ABRSM Grade 6 Performance exam, and I thought I'd make this video to talk about the different aspects that went into the exam. What is this performance exam as opposed to the practical one, the pieces that I've selected, the results, commentary given by assessors, and just any other aspects that you might find helpful and that I wish I would have seen myself. As usual, none of this is to be taken as gold standard or the only way to do things. This is just a summarization of the things that I've done or what I wish I would have done and what I might consider doing in the future. So what's this new pathway anyway? This is basically just an alternative way to take your piano performance exam, although it goes to other instruments as well, but I'm just going to cover specifically the piano exam. The only difference is that instead of doing a face-to-face exam, you will be recording this exam. Because of this, you won't have to do the auxiliary tests like sight reading, techniques, so scales, arpeggios, all that kind of stuff, or the oral exam, because obviously you need someone else and you can't do that by yourself. Instead, you will have to play a fourth piece that you get to select yourself. So this is a great opportunity to play a piece that you really love. In summary, you have to play 4 pieces in one take and just submit the recording. This offers great flexibility. You don't have to go anywhere. So no matter the country that you're in or the state of the pandemic, if it's locked down or not, you can record yourself in your bedroom if you want to and send a recording. And secondly, although you select a time slot that you have to submit it by, you have all the way until that time slot to send your recording. So if you finish 2 weeks in advance, props to you. You can submit the recording, you don't have to wait. And again, if it takes you until the last second to get the recording and submit it, then you can do that, so you gain a bit more time. Obviously the recording cannot be edited or any of that stuff. You can read about this on the website. Some quick context for those of you new to the channel: I have now taken 4 exams with ABRSM. The practical, the traditional pathway for piano, grade 3 in 2018, grade 5 in 2019, then the grade 5 theory exam in 2020 in the summer, and I made a previous video on this. And now the grade 6 performance exam, which is slightly different to the practical one, as I covered before. And now there's probably a huge question that everyone has, and I had as well, and I should probably address the elephant in the room, and that is, how does this compare to the practical face-to-face exam? Surely this should be a lot easier. To some extent it is easier because you can just re-record yourself, so you can never mess up big time, which you could in an exam, although if you prepared properly, you should hopefully not be in a position to make any huge mistakes, or maybe just make one, but nothing that would completely result in you failing the exam. However, I will just say this: if you ever recorded anything with the intention to post it anywhere on Instagram, YouTube, or maybe just to send it to a friend, you know how painful it is just to record 30 seconds, maybe a minute, or maybe just a 1 to 2 minute piece. Now imagine recording 4 pieces back to back with an introduction at the beginning as well, which is probably a minute, just to talk about the repertoire and your name and show the books and your ID. So now trying to put all of that together, keeping in mind that the pieces are not very easy, then it's not as easy as you might think. At the same time, I don't mean to scare you, and I will provide some tips to make this whole process easier and maybe what I should have done even more. But I just wanted to clarify that this is not an easy exam, and you shouldn't think of it as something that I'll just get it done. You should still prepare as if you were to do a live performance, because it's going to be hard. So now let's get to the results, because I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that take 5 to 6 minutes to talk about what everybody else wants them to talk about. Wait, overall, I was fortunately awarded distinction this year with 136 marks. And as I previously mentioned, I played 4 different pieces. Kulau for Sonatina for section A. For section B, I have played The Little Ballerina by Hartmann. For section C, I have played The Serenade on the Water by Jacques Ibert. My optional piece was, of course, Chopin's Waltz in F minor, which is one of my favorite pieces so far. out of the ones that I've played. I won't go too much into the commentary. You can pause and read through it at your own pleasure if you'd like to see the kind of commentary that they provide. I was awarded fairly high marks on everything except for the sonatina, so there was absolutely no surprise there. But one thing that I do specifically want to mention, you can see that I made mistakes in literally every piece. If you read the commentary, you'll see that they mention that I have made mistakes in every piece. And despite that, I almost score maximum marks in most pieces. So despite the fact that I have made mistakes in virtually every single piece, I have scored really well overall due to the musicality that I presented, which is completely the opposite of what I did last year. You can find my videos from there with commentary. If you go back, you can see that there's almost no mention of wrong notes, but the musicality just wasn't there, which hurt a lot more. If you want to look into more detail in the commentary, I will make sure to add a link in the description of this video, so check there. And lastly, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to use any of the recording that I have sent for the examination purposes on any of my socials or anywhere on the internet. But I have some backup recordings that I've previously posted on the channel, so I will add links to everything that I have played in the description. And also, if you're interested in the books that I have used, I will also add a link, so just check the description if you'd like more details into this. Now, would I recommend to go down this performance pathway rather than the old practical route? I don't think anyone can tell you which one is better, assuming that you have the option to do either one depending on which country you live in and what day of the month, because apparently the lockdowns just change all over the place. But what I would recommend you, that no matter which one you choose, is that you still practice your sight reading and technique and everything else that you would do in a face-to-face exam. Lastly, I think the whole process was excellent. It was very easy to send a recording and record myself. I used my phone, so there was no need for any equipment. I got the results back in about 4 to 5 days, so it was incredibly fast. Although it took me about 3 to 4 weeks to get my diploma, but I think that was just a mailing error, especially with the lockdown. I hope you found this valuable, and if you have any other questions regarding this exam or anything, just let me know in the comments. Now I have a list of about 7 or 8 tips that I would recommend you to use if you want to go down this exam. But unfortunately the video is way too long and I don't want to bore you, so I will make a second follow-up video if you want to watch in the next couple of days, in which I will talk in a bit more detail about each one of those tips. So if that's something that you'd like to see, ensure that you subscribe and come back in a couple of days and you'll get to see that video. I hope this was all helpful, and stay safe and keep learning. Wait.